Somebody told me there's cowboys round these parts. The Cowboys were on the other side of the world, so we spent 18 hours flying with the RAF, who escorted us into the Falkland Islands. We heard straight away that the real Cowboys were way out west, but we had no idea just how long the road was going to be. Playing an ancient cowboy game known universally as silly buggers. In case I didn't find any of the real cowboys, I brought my own band of lost cowboys with me. Aye-ah, aye-ah, aye-aye-aye-aye-aye-aye-ah. As you can see from the fringes, from the haircuts, it's a wee bit windy around here at the moment. At Port San Carlos, I met my first farmer, my first Falklands cowboy. Tony Anderson had a small spread round these parts, only 26,500 acres and 7,500 sheep, which he worked with his wife. This bunkhouse is very big, isn't it? It's, and there's only you and Jenny living here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you take visitors then?
Yes,
You're doing that?
Yes, we get a lot of people through.
You do?
Yeah, well, you know, just come out for a Saturday evening, bring a bottle of rum with them.
Yeah.
So, let the hair down, that's why I got none left.
I'm on your tail, mate. And do you get any of the veterans come over?
There's been a few, yes.
Because one would have thought some of the paras or the Marines who started here, didn't they? Started the yomp to Stanley.
Yeah, there's been a few back I've seen. So.
Yeah. So you were in Goose Green in the war, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's locked up there. Heard a few bangs.
Yeah. How many people were locked up in the community hall?
115.
It was 115. For how long?
29 days.
And Jenny said, I mean, you didn't say, but Jenny said she was pretty sure that that was it. You weren't going to see, you weren't going to live, you weren't going to survive it.
That's right.
Did you feel like that too?
Yeah.
Is that how most of the people felt?
I think so, yes. Yeah,
did you talk about it to each other, or?
No.
You just
kept bottled up. I suppose it could have been worse. No one got killed there, luckily. But
not one of the 115?
No.
That's fine.
There's a few bullets went in the place we were stopping in, but they was just sort of in the roof, so it was quite lucky, really.
And this is men, women, children, everything? Yeah. The whole community?
Yeah.
Were locked in there?
From 4-month-old baby upwards to people that was 82-year-old.
Toilet facilities?
2 there, one for men, one for the ladies. So we used to start queuing, some of us about 7 o'clock for the loo in the morning, and then it got to 4 o'clock in the morning, because it used to take that long to get through. And, you know, with the food we was getting being sort of cut down and everything, everyone's stomach was upset, change of diet, so a lot of us had diarrhea all the time. So stand there with your legs crossed and hope nothing happened.
You can laugh now. Well,
Not really, no.
no, you can't even do that.
No. Something you don't want to go through again.
No. So things have definitely got better since the war.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Except the wool prices.
That's right. They've gone the opposite way.
They've gone right the other way, haven't they?
Yes.
Can you make a living with wool?
Not at the moment, no. No, if we didn't have the self-caping, we wouldn't survive.
That's it?
Yeah. Simple as that. And a bit of assistance from government we get.
Yeah. I think we're going to have to hit the road.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All the best.
Great, Tone. Thanks a million.
Well, not quite the road, but the Falkland Sound in a lifeboat. We had to cross the water to get to Port Howard on the West Falklands. Out in the open sea, nature hit us right in the face. Albatrosses, South American terns, shags, and a bunch of jackass penguins, but best of all, dolphins. I was so intoxicated, I didn't notice it was getting rougher. But hey, I was on a lifeboat.
This is a life, eh? Whoa, right. Come on, Cowboy. Life on the ocean wave. Whoa, hey. All right. Kev! Come Hank! Grab it! What? We got a bit hairy out there actually for a while. I'll laugh about it later, I think. Yeah. Actually, I mean, fair play.
Laugh about it now, Kevin.
Hank himself was laughing while he was hanging over the side of the boat. And there was just this grin, and I was looking at him going, what is he doing? Why is he laughing? What is he like? Why is he doing that? And then I realised it was actually quite dangerous.
Halfway overboard, yeah.
And then we started shouting for help, and John's helped me, got him back on board.
So you're going to be lost, Hank, and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So genuinely hairy?
Yeah, it's got a bit choppy out there. No, that was all right. It's just it was your falling over that got me going.
Lovely trip, all 3.5 hours of it. I was glad to get to Port Howard in one piece.
This is summertime, right? In summertime. What can I say? That's the only word. This is summertime. Enjoy the summer while it lasts.
Anyone want to go and buy a sweater before we have
Next morning on the West Falkland Riviera, things were definitely looking up.
Well, it's Monday morning. I'm up before everybody else, but I've come into the bathroom and I wanted to show you this because it's a fantastic bath, enormously long, and so I've drawn a really nice bath, as they used to say. I mean, take a look at this. And the reason I wanted to show you this bathroom, it has a very, very bizarre mirror, which makes everything very, very thin. So it's obviously designed for fat people to look at themselves and think, wow, you know, it's working. Hey, I'm looking good. But for me, being more on the skinny side, it's very, very weird indeed. I look like some kind of stick insect. So it's very bizarre. Longest bath in the world, and a mirror that makes you look like the longest person in the world. I'm going to have a bath.
Time to hit the road, and another long road it was going to be. I didn't realise how big the Falkland Islands are. Altogether, they're the size of Wales, with most of the 2,000 Falkland Islanders living in Stanley, and only 160 out here on West Falkland. You can't get everywhere by road. You still have to drive cross-country now and then, and my mate John decided to toughen us up a bit and give us a taste of the real thing.
Oh, Jesus, John, I can feel her going.
We've actually bailed out now, you know, while we leave John to it. That's the sinking ship, and we are the rats. Oh, God. Go on, John.
Oh, he's going the wrong way.
Oh, Jesus, he's got the door back.
What you definitely don't want to do out in the middle of nowhere is break down.
Now let's try and hit it.
Hit it. Right.
Starter motor isn't working.
You open the bonnet then, John.
Luckily, Kevin is a licensed mechanic. Licensed, a very skillful mechanic, so he's going to hit the starter motor with a fucking great old piece of rock.
Hit what? Hit the starter motor. Oh, right.
John, do you want to poke things before you go? Yeah, John is trying to get us swept away here. Yeah, and don't let it stop, John, because we cannot push it out. Give it plenty of rev. Yeah, get yourself out. Oh, right. That would be great. Look.
That's okay with you?
I think the bridge sounds like a great idea. Yeah.
No, this one's already open.
Should we get out to lighten the weight of the...
See trucks sleeping on.
Yeah, just keep moving, John. Lovely, yeah. Cool, that journey went on forever. But we weren't the only ones who'd been on the road a while, because tomorrow was going to be party time at Fox Bay. Oh, here we are. Yeah, it's kebab time. Oh, lovely, mutton. Mutton kebabs. Or what they call the Benny kebabs. Hi, Richard.
Hi there, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Smoking.
A little.
Little smoking, that's good, it's good.
The Camp Sports is the biggest party in the year. It's the only time when the campers, the folk from the country, El Campo, come together from their isolated farms to eat and drink, sing and dance, and to race their horses.
1 second.
So you just doing the commentary there?
Yeah, I do. I record all this and I send it to town on the plane. It'll be broadcast later in the week sometime.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What, on Fibs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the BBC. I was being recorded by BBC, but the silly bugger didn't turn any recorder on.
Oh, no.
So we're gonna have to do one again later on.
no.
I can do them again. Once I know the result, I can do them without actually having it in front of me. So it's not too bad.
And is it just a straight run?
It's a straight run. Yeah, short races. That way you get a lot of excitement in a day.
Yeah.
You know, you go to a big race meeting, you get 8 to 10 races in a day. Here you get 20 odd.
Yeah, yeah.
So it makes for a bit more excitement. Here we commentate on the jockeys, not on the horses.
Ah.
Everybody knows the jockeys, they don't know the horses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, we have the horses lining up at the start now, and this isn't going to take terribly long. Denise is having a bit of trouble on the inside rail here, and there's a lot of spinning around going on. Louise Pole Evans is the only horse standing still at the moment. Everybody else is twirling around. Some people like to twirl around before the start so they're on the move when they go. Others like their horses standing dead still, which is Denise's style way out on the left-hand side. And her horse has decided the start's been given, but it hasn't, so she's got to take it back. That's the second time that this has happened so far. So we're going to come back to you when they've got everything sorted out there. I think it's going to take a bit of time. Damn trouble with 300 yards is you haven't got any time at all. Right, yeah, they're away this time. They're running. Ron Rosie made a bit of a swerve across the front of the field as they come down here now. Denise on the outside, Denise McPhee on the outside's made the run, but Ron Rosie's coming away with it. Ron Rosie's moving in there. He's got Debbie Summers right on his field. Debbie Summers is making the run at the end, and she's going to take it. Debbie Summers from Ron Rosie, and I think that Leon Marsh would have been third. So that was very exciting. The lead in a 300-yard race, the lead to changes about 3 times in the length of that race. Makes it very difficult to commentate, but I think we got a clear winner there. We'll give you the official result shortly. Just got that one. Get the results, and then we'll put it over.
I wandered over to the paddock to check out the horses and met Debbie, who seemed to be winning an awful lot.
I won the last race and it was totally brilliant. I won the Governor's Cup this morning, which is completely unheard of for me, really. But they're both fantastic horses. They're Falkland Island bred horses. They still work on the farms with sheep, you know, gathering and stuff.
Do they?
Yeah, I do all that. Yeah. So we go out very early in the morning, say, I don't know, 6 o'clock in the morning and start gathering sheep, and it goes on all day really.
When you saying yesterday you'd be out, or was it the day? Yesterday you said I'll be out at 6:30 tomorrow morning.
Oh yes, I was this morning,
You were?
Went for a ride, just to see how they were and everything.
Yeah.
In the rain, because it was raining this morning.
Was it?
But that's Falklands weather, because look at it now, it's great, isn't it? Yeah. Absolutely great, so I'm going to have to get my horse some water now.
Good, thanks.
Okay.
Here they come. Here they come. Here they come. Here come. Come on,
I can't hear Peter O'Sullivan. I can't hear him.
There's a boomerang coming on the outside now. There's a boomerang. Come on, boomerang. Better not have sold me another pup, I can tell you.
No, he's a fucking wanker. He's second.
Right, that's it, Martin.
So which one won?
Red Wing.
Did it?
Yeah, I'll never listen to you again.
Oh, good. I've got one on Red Wing as well.
Oh, you fiddling. You haven't. Oi!
Well done.
Come on, Gov.
Get the ambulance out.
The party packed up and moved on, but we dropped in on the neighbours. There are 5 kinds of penguins on the Falklands. These are gentoos. A nice friendly place to sit down a while, a penguin rookery, once you get past the smell of overripe camembert. They seemed quite chatty at first, once I got the head nodding and gurgling sorted, but damn short attention span, these penguins.
Well, they're just everywhere. We keep jumping out of the car and saying, dolphin alert, porpoise alert. But you see those lovely, glistening, grey-black circles just coming up and sliding out, sliding back into the sea. Most beautiful motion. And then the penguins followed the porpoises and tried doing what the porpoises were doing.
Wow!
but they come choop, whip out, choop, all fast. No chance, boys. Back to school.
Second in the 80-yard backward race for a peck.
Second in the 80-yard backward race. Second in the 80-yard backward race. You're the second in the 80-yard backward race.
And third in the 80-yard backward race, Sally Robertson.
What time is it?
It's time to wake up, Ted.
Shh. Oh, God. What a hangover.
Oh, yeah? Lot of spirit? Oh, yeah, you helped me with my whiskey.
And I helped Reg with his.
Well, that's right.
And I don't like whiskey.
I would have had that hangover. But for Ted here, I would have had a roaring hangover. But he's just all heart. He hates whiskey, and he helped me out.
Oh, God, that's lovely. Right. That's much better.
One day you're gonna wake up dead.
So you don't hurt no one except yourself, as long as God is looking after the national. These sheep shearers are a travelling band of serious professionals who come from all over the world to compete with the best of the Falkland Islands. They work the year round, earn big money, but with cracked hands and broken backs, they're finished by the time they're 30.
One day you're gonna wake up dead. One day you're gonna wake up dead.
there may be loads of space, but there's never enough time. So we've had to leave the sheep shearing. We've got to head off to Hill Cove because we've got to get to see Tim and Sally before 1 o'clock. Now, that's 1 o'clock our time, because wouldn't you know, we're going to cross a time zone between here and Hill Cove, only in the Falklands.
In fact, it's a local time zone they've made up themselves, just to confuse us, to make us go too fast. It's a long way on a rough old road to be going for lunch, but that's what you do in the Falklands. Back at home, Reg and I know a family in Somerset whose ancestors had settled here over 100 years ago. They found a secluded spot out in the far west called Hill Cove.
Hi, Tim. No, that's it. Blimey, aching all over. That's quite a journey. The wind's not so fierce here as it was up on the plains, certainly not as dusty because we're by the sea. So here we are, Hill Cove, the Blake home. Feels like the end of a long pilgrimage, really. And this is Tim Blake.
Oh yeah,
Tim, pleased to meet you. I saw you at the races, but didn't come over and say hello.
Come you in, it's miserable out here.
Yes, thank you.
No late night supermarkets around here, so anything you eat you've got to grow or catch yourself.
Trout, mutton, homemade chutney, rhubarb chutney, lovely. The trout looks gorgeous. On our pudding we've got strawberries and we've got blackberries, all raised here. And then the cream is from the milk that she milks out of the cows and makes the cream.
Yeah.
The Blakes live alone in the big old house at Hill Cove, built by Tim's grandfather in 1888. These days, Tim uses his bike to gather the horses, but then he and Sally saddle up and do their work on horseback. Like most Falkland farmers, they have no hired hands, and as a couple, they manage the place entirely on their own. Luckily, it's a small farm by Falkland standards, but it's still 14,500 acres. As well as building the house, Tim's grandfather wanted to bring a bit of Somerset to these wide open spaces, so he built himself some woodlands.
What did you call it, Tim? His wilderness?
This is the wilderness.
The wilderness.
There was a series of gardens down here as well, but all the hedges have come overgrown. And,
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, we came across something we hadn't seen at all in the West Falklands.
Oh yes.
Reg had noticed yesterday that remarkable lack of churches out in the camp, or chapels, but we asked John and Tim and they said, well, you know, the ministers just travel about. They travel round once or twice a year, really, and people apparently give them quite short shrift. They say, well, thanks a lot, Parson, thanks for coming, say your prayers and bosh.
Sheltered by the mountains, this was a slice of paradise. But there was a sadness in the air. After a century, this was the end of the line for the Blakes at Hill Cove. They were having to sell the farm and move to Stanley. Ha 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 ha. Back at Fox Bay, the party was still going on, in a porter cabin. When you live on farms as isolated as Hill Cove and only get together once a year, you guarantee you make the most of it. What's happened is, actually, I've stumbled on the last outpost of serious country and western. It's extraordinary. And I knew that I'd come to find some cowboys, maybe a bit of an apology for them, because most of them would be sitting on four-wheelers, but I knew that there would be cowboys here. But what I didn't realise was there would be cowboy music. Of course there would. And even though they've given up the horse riding, some of them, not the people here at sports, but they haven't given up the music. There goes the helicopter. There goes the coffee all over my hand. That was a great idea, pouring that cup. I actually want to get that coffee in my gob, but it's too dangerous really, because I'll probably end up with a lap load of coffee. Oh, mind you, yes, they talk about the lanolin in the sheep. That's going to pretty much do for my jeans, I'd say. Or does it all wash out?
Yes, it washes out beautifully.
It washes out beautifully. There's a wool man speaking for you. Shearing time again. I'd seen the professionals, now it was my turn. This is my first tutorial. Roger and Ben are going to show me how to walk so that sheep is lulled into a sense of false security, rolls over on its back, and I don't have to struggle. I've got to look like a shearer.
Well, you know, when they're shearing, you stand with your legs straight.
All right.
Bent over like this,
no,
so it tends to do your hips. So what you've got to do when they've finished, they tend to walk like an old man. So the legs are slightly bowed, backside stuck out, hollow back.
Right.
It's a bit like this.
Right, I think I've got it.
Okay. That's very good.
That's very good.
Swing your arms good at all.
Think I'm fooling.
This is fancy dress night, and everybody's dressed up in silly dresses. Some in sillier dresses than others. And the funny thing about it is that a lot of people are dressed up as other people on the island, so they're dressed up as each other. I think a couple are dressed up as sheep, which is a fairly obvious selection. Looks fairly silly.
There were the Gurkhas, disguised as themselves. And another guy was dressed up as me.
What can I say? Absolute madness. So that was the thing, is he was dancing with the woman he was dressed up as. You see, it all goes round, doesn't it?
Still looking for cowboys, I wanted to meet and greet Sue Binney. At 82, he's the oldest horseman on the islands. If country and western is the soul of the Falklands, then maybe Sue could show me the heartbeat.
Moody. Bitter tears. Ballads of the American Indian.
Yes.
Well, of course, he's got some Cherokee in him, I think.
Yes, yeah.
But I mean, it's like the Falklands, isn't it? In America, everybody's mixed.
Yes.
They're mixtures of people.
Yeah, that's
right. Where does the Binney family come from?
I'm not too sure about that, but my grandfather come from Scotland.
Yeah.
One of my grandfathers. The other fellow was down in Reading.
Yeah.
England.
But I would think Binney's a Scottish name, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, for sure.
And is Sue short for something?
I got that by accident.
Yeah. Well, there, Johnny has a song for you.
Yes, yes.
The original boy named Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we want is simple pleasures. What we get is
Johnny with the very, very dodgy moustache.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Heaven's breezes, simple
Look
pleasures.
at that picture. It's a little bit extraterrestrial, wouldn't you say?
Ride the highway.
He sang flatter than anybody else in the entire world.
Live down my way without fear. You wake up hungry, wanna wake up fed. One of these days, gonna wake up dead. What we want is simple pleasure. What we get is a long hard rain. What we need,
yes, sir.
Heaven's breezes, simple pleasures without.
Right, mustn't hit the horse. Look at him.
What we want is simple pleasure, simple pleasures without pain, simple pleasures without pain.
Well, we've left Port Howard and we're trying to get out there before the wind whips up. It seems to be quite quiet, but we're only on the inlet at the moment.
Estancia, the Spanish word for farm. Here, the farmer was experimenting, trying his damnedest to grow something, anything, on this unpromising land. For his energy needs, he was a belt and braces man, burning peat, harnessing the wind, plenty of that around here in the Roaring Forties, and grabbing some of the sun.
Honestly, I can't stand country and western music.
Oh, was that your attempt at country and western music?
No, I just don't like it.
You should come and hear us, Tony, then that'll change your mind in a hurry.
Oh my God. Some of them now are not quite so bad, but when these ones were made in America, where they heard a train coming from miles away.
It's my kind of stuff, mate.
Is it?
I love it.
I really put
Trains coming from miles away, my speciality. In fact, we start those trains
I don't mind
on
any type of music, but
but no ping pongs.
No, that ping pong pong pong. Boxcar Willie or something.
Oh no, Boxcar Willie is what we call shit.
It is absolute shit.
He is complete shite. And the only thing
but
he
a lot
is
of the stuff which you call country and western days, what we call middle of the road stuff, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, but the real
country and western, and it's not.
That's right.
I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, and any middle of the road I hate.
Yeah.
So if it's country and western middle of the road, I hate it as much as any other middle of the road.
I like Vanessa May now. There's someone who can play a violin.
Well, you're welcome, mate.
Don't you like her?
Nah.
Do you like that?
Nah.
Very good.
Nah. Not keen. But there, she's pretty.
Mark Hoffman.
Who?
Mark Hoffman, the Dire Straits guy.
Oh, Mark Knopfler.
Mark Knopfler.
Yeah, he's all right, but our guitarist doesn't like him.
Doesn't he?
No.
Anyway, I better go and find a screwdriver, I suppose, and take this blooming steering column to pieces. I'll see you
later then,
Have a good night.
See you, Tim. Nice to meet you.
Right, see you.
All the best, yeah?
See you.
Cheers.
Go and find me screwdriver.
All right. So there's the man who has Estancia, the farm called Farm. And he speaks his mind, doesn't he? Ha ha! One of the weirdest things I saw on East Falklands looked at first like giant scree. These were the stone runs, great rivers of stone that mystified Charles Darwin when he passed through here on his epic journey. They're made of huge boulders that seem to be flowing down the hillsides. Well, if Darwin couldn't solve the mystery of the stone runs, I wasn't likely to. Anyway, I had a date to help a guy drive a bunch of sheep across a sandbar out to an island, and the tide waits for no man. Roads are for wimps. You know, who needs them? Now this is real Falkland, we're going on a track. And actually Tony just passed a sign up there which said Long Island, you know, where us wimps, we would have gone straight for that one. And he's taken us out on a track because he says, this is a better track. This track was taking us to another isolated farm by the sea, belonging to Neil and Glenda Watson. Handy tractor there, just in case you get bogged. Finally got there, just in time to catch the tide. This is Long Island Farm. Welcome to Long Island. Hi, Neil. How are you?
Very good, how are you? Thank you.
Yeah, let's grab that hand. How are you?
All right, mate, yeah.
And you work your sheep with the horses?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we use motorbikes sometimes. You know, we've got a couple of motorbikes here.
Yeah.
But horses have been my hobby, Hank, so I can combine work and...
Business and pleasure.
Business and pleasure, yeah.
So you were Stanley born and bred?
Yeah.
So you weren't a camper originally at all?
No. I started off as a civil servant. I was a junior clerk in the customs office.
Yeah.
So you left school those days at 14, at 14 and a half, started work. And I worked through the civil service. I worked in the Treasury for a while, cashier in the Treasury, got fed up with that. And when I saw this glimmer of light here, I went for it. But all my life, I've been an outdoor bloke, Hank. You see, I love horses and dogs, and got to keep an eye on that tide, Hank.
Yeah.
Time and tide.
Is it about to turn, or has it?
Oh, it's falling now. Yeah.
It's still falling.
Yeah. So this is about the last opportunity. The next 2 days to get the sheep on, and they'll stay there all winter. You see.
Oh, will they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And good grazing.
Oh, excellent. It's the best. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, best grazing I've got. It's the best in the world, but as good as you get around here.
I keep a riding high in the saddle again. I keep a riding high in the saddle again. Oh, with the okay, you can yodel through the darkest day. Right off in the sunset once again. So keep riding high in the saddle again. Keep riding high in the saddle again.
It seems I've found my cowboy, or at least a sheepman on horseback. I found a lot else besides. I found that country and western was the soundtrack to the Falklands. I found wildlife that jumped right up in my face, and I met people who wouldn't swap their lives here on these windswept islands way down south for anywhere else on earth. And I can understand why.
But a person's got to prove that he's a man.